Welcome to action from the MotorMart Volkswagen Challenge, and a big welcome to MotorMart as the official sponsor now for Volkswagen Challenge. We head to St. Paddy's Day Festival, Extreme Festival at Zwartkops, and very tricky and trying conditions greeted all of the drivers as we arrived at the circuit with wet conditions. Great to have a new sponsor. Let's catch up with him, Mo Dangle.
Motor racing has always been a passion of mine, and over the years it's always been a dream of mine to wait for an opportunity to get involved in motorsport. And meeting the guys of VW Challenge, we came across an ideal opportunity where we could put back into the sport, become a sponsor and make the sport better.
Great to have that from a sponsor. Making the sport better is what we want. You don't get much better than Volkswagen Challenge, particularly when you got Class A. So evenly matched, and brand new cars coming out and brand new drivers joining Class A for the very first time as well. It's going to be an epic first race here. Fortunately, the conditions have dried up, so it's going to make it a little bit more easy for these guys. As we go on board with Lyle Ramsey, let's see what he can do on these Hankook tyres now. Brand new tyres in the series as well. Heading through turn 1, Compendium Insurance. A great start at the front end there for Stian Kriel. He's followed very closely there by Nick Clark, who has stepped up into Class A, a multiple Class B and overall champion in his career in the Volkswagen Challenge. And speaking of careers in Volkswagen Challenge, a couple of newbies getting forced wide and onto the high line coming out of turn 2. Into the back straight they go, and Kriel's already opened up a bit of a margin, starting to open up and get away. Look at Lyle Ramsey under massive attack coming from the back end there. Kraus is there, and you can see just how hard he's having to push, because on his tail as well was Smallberger in the mix and looking for a chance. If one opens up, you don't want to definitely have that man behind you. Voldy Mikes closes in on Clark as he tries to close that little gap down. Oh, Ramsey sideways. Ramsey absolutely lit as they came through Sassel Corner. Awesome to see that bit of maneuvering. Derek Smallberger in the mix as well, and he's got the Ancro Building Projects car right on his tail there. And Kraus is looking dangerous. He wants by, and he wants by big time. Side by side Masters. Oh, can he get through? Oh, they side by side through the final turn. And somebody's going to have to run ever so slightly wide. It was Wayne Masters who had to give up a little bit of room there, as Lyle Ramsey kept him honest going into turn 1. Speaking of turn 1, look how tight it is here between these two. Oh, see Voldy Mikes having a look, but can't quite make it stick just yet. Lyle Ramsey goes defensive. Here comes Masters, diving on the inside, late braking, and Lyle Ramsey nearly tucks into him. Fortunately, saw him coming. And then Bevan Masters. Oh, opportunistic driving there from Bev as he dives through. And Wayne Masters opened up the door there for the two of them. Andre Kallet's a bit further back there, still fighting hard. And some great little fights that are starting to rage. You can see two packs of cars that are fighting. Nick Clark for second place here, fighting hard with Voldy Mikes. But the second pack is the one we want to kind of concentrate on as they head to the top of the hill. Look at Clark's drive up the hill. Really has got a great turn of pace. But under braking, main squeeze closes up again and says, right, let's have a little bit of a go here. Are they going to catch Stian Kriel? I'm not quite sure if they are. Look at Kriel. He's absolutely disappearing at the front end and making it very difficult for these guys to catch the Posi Drive car. Second and third place, almost a trailer behind that Avo suspension machine. And Voldy Mikes is that trailer as he tucks under the bonnet and under the bumper. A lot of these cars coming out of what was NGen Polo Cup and now being converted into the speculations that are allowed for Volkswagen Challenge. Making them pretty rapid as well, which is good to see. Now under braking, they're going into turn 2. MotorMart Clarksdorp on board here, of course, as the main sponsor, and great to have them as part of it. And can Lyle Ramsey come back at the two Masters boys? Oh, there was a touch. Rory Atkinson getting a little bit of help there. I think that was Sean Kraus who just gave him a little tag into turn 2. Kraus goes on the defensive because the first of the MotorMart cars is right on his tail. That's Quinton Needham looking for a way through. Not going to be an easy day in the saddle for any of these guys. Remember, this is Class A on their own. The second race of the day will be combined with the Class Bs and Cs. And that's going to make for over 45 cars on track at the same time. Oh, it's going to be a nightmare. Here we go. Under braking, Bevan Masters being closed down by Lyle Ramsey. The Munro car starting to catch onto the back end there. And Bevan Masters, so close. CPS warehouse car getting sideways out of Sassel and managing just to keep out the attacks coming from the youngster behind him. And he maintains that as they head down the hill. Voldy Mikes has got ahead, so up into second place now for Mikes in the Dimension Science car, squeezing out Nick Clark for first and second. Could be a change up there, which could be quite vital at this stage. Wayne Masters lost a little bit of ground after he slid into turn 2, but he's made that ground up almost instantaneously, and just behind him, the Toshiba Tech car of Wayne Kraus is also coming along for the ride. It's quite very similar livery to Bevan Masters, so you've got to just make sure that you get the black and turquoise as opposed to the white and turquoise cars there. But they are sandwiching Lyle Ramsey at this stage, who's got Masters on his tail. Smallberger forced wide. Changing up from the Beetle into a Polo. Going to take him a while probably to get used to that car, but still in the mix and fighting hard for the latter part of probably just outside the top 10 or into the top 10 there for those cars fighting in this category. Down the back straight. Here comes Wayne Krause. He has closed in. Bevan Masters seems to be just holding these three cars up ever so slightly, but you can see just ahead of him, looks like Mikey's is doing the same thing to Clark. Sean Krause, Ankara Building Projects Polo, flying into turn 4 behind Gavin Ross. So he's lost a little bit of ground now. Gavin Ross has made up one position. And then as the rest of them come steaming through there, keep an eye out on the likes of Mark Ackerman as he comes in the back end of Class A. Super effort here from Quinton Needham. And he's applying big pressure. Speaking of pressure, Lyle Ramsey has now closed that gap to within half a bumper length and could potentially spoil the day there for Bevan Masters. Let's see what he's like through turn 1. He keeps very honest through turn 1. Watch him drift to the outside, possibly dive on the inside of turn 2. Bevan Masters might be a little bit rusty in terms of his ability in the car. He hasn't been in a race car for a long time, as we see Gavin Ross pulling off to the sideline in the Norbrake Polo. Problems there for Ross. Hopefully he can get back on track. It doesn't look like he has, though. I think he's pulled to the sideline and out of this first one. Further back to see that Mark Barblier in the Light Mart machine fighting hard there. Mike has had a super baptism of fire here, but he's going to have to work a bit harder if he wants to get to the front end where this man is. What a drive here from the Posse Drive car of Stian Kriel, just disappearing at the front end and making it extremely difficult for everybody else to try and close in on him. Mikey's hangs on for second. Nick Clark is still in third place, and out of shape is Bevan Masters. That might open up the door. Yes, Lyle Ramsey's going to capitalize on that. And gives him a tap as well. Thanks for coming. Wayne Masters going to go with him. So exactly what Bevan Masters did when Wayne Masters opened up the door earlier on in the race. Looks like Bevan is going to lose out now to Wayne Masters. They come under braking now for G&H Transport Corner. Valdi Mankies hanging on. Has he got that second place? Yes, he has. He's still got that Evo suspension car right on his tail. But there's a little bit of a gap now between himself and Nick Clark. Clark will definitely want to close that down. It is St. Paddy's Day, so the luck of the Irish is going to fall on someone here today. Hopefully it's going to be the guys that are fighting from the back, but the guys at the front are praying it's not going to be them. Come out of turn 2. Further back, Krause is being closed down. You can see all of a sudden a big maneuver coming through there from Craig Gammy. Much better improvement and a much better drive coming out of Gammy. He really has got that GTI performance car working very nicely, and I think there's a possibility of him closing in and catching Krause. Let's see what happens in that little battle. Further up the front end, Valdi Mankies. He's gone a little bit slower on that last lap and allowed Nick Clark in with another chance of getting through on him. Let's see whether or not that's going to be the case. They have also closed in on Kriel. In the bottom end, it looked like Barblier might have just got out of shape there. The Light Mart car just spinning out through turn 4. I just saw the lights facing the drivers as they came across the line. But this man, Stian Kriel, is definitely in a class of his own right now as he heads down into turn 1, Compendium Insurance Corner. Gets onto the brakes now for turn 2. How far back is Mankies? Have a look on the background. See ya? There they come only now. Sure, it's a big margin to make up. I don't think Maldi Mankies and Nick Clark are going to have an answer. Lyle Ramsey's pulled away from the two Masters, so it's Wayne Masters ahead of Bevan Masters. Craig Gammy just behind them. Look at this. Sean Krause under attack. And a good move there from Atkinson. Atkinson's dived on the inside, gone with Krause. Here comes Smallberger. Could he possibly squeeze out Needham as well? Needham won't be happy about losing out one position. Imagine losing 3. Whew, very close. Gammy has caught and right up there with the Delway machine of Wayne Krause. Krause seems to be having a little issues. He goes defensive, but I think there's much better drive coming out of Gammy's car up the hill. This time it's Sean Krause who goes on the defensive on the inside, trying to keep out Atkinson. Atkinson's through though. BHIT Polo dives through, gets up ahead. Here comes Needham straight back at Krause on the Ankara Building Projects car. Needham in the MotorMart car. On his inside comes Smallberger. Yo, this is a fantastic battle, and Callets just behind. Oh no, Mikey spun out again. He's had a tough day here in Class A. But the Light Mart machine, I'm sure, will be back in race for race 2. This is how they come down onto the braking markers into G&H. Callets on the inside of Smallberger. Issues on the inside there, and oh no, that's Atkinson. A multiple champion pulling to the sideline. Atkinson's got a problem there on his car and has to probably pull out just after the pit exit. The Monkeys has been caught. Look at this. Nick Clark applying massive pressure now in the closing stages here of race number 1. Can he find a way through? We'll have to wait and see if he's going to get close enough to get that Avo suspension car up ahead of the Dimension Science car. Well, he'll do it if he gets out of shape like that. Monkeys catches himself out under braking. and loses that position for second. The checkered flag is on standby with 3 quarters to go. Mikey's making a very big mistake, and that is a costly one for him. Creel is going to take the win. He comes across the line to take that victory, but in the background, it is going to be Nick Clark to take second place. Unfortunately, Stian Creel was caught out with a technical infringement, which gives Nick Clark the win ahead of Valdi Mikey's and Lyle Ramsey the third place. Combination now of Class B and C. Only 2 Class C contenders out there, but there's a couple of new Class B ones. We just saw Luke McGregor in the mix, and looks like he's going to be fighting hard in the Grange workwear car and 3M machine as it heads into turn 1, side by side with one of the Golf 1s on the inside. And as they all get to sort things out, very tight stuff between the Class B boys. Front end, it's usually Jacques Smith, but have a look at Jason Finney jumping into the MotorMart car here for a one-off event at St. Paddy's Day, and he'll be giving the usual contenders a run for their money. Dion Holiday will be one of those, so will Stuart Mack. Keep an eye out on a welcome to Volkswagen Challenge for John Johnson as well. He's been spending some time in the gym and has now decided to come back and have some fun on the black stuff. Now onto the braking markers. Jason Finney applying the pressure. Can't find a way through just yet, but it's very, very close for the rest of this pack as they go through there. Pete Porchita under attack there from the Eagle 1 car of car number 32, Almira Van Eck. Almira's been a busy day today, not only in the Volkswagen Challenge, but also participating in 111 as well as the Super Hatch. So he's got 6 races to compete in today. It'll be a tough day in the saddle, but definitely getting that seat time and getting vital experience. Great to have this big pack of cars so closely and evenly matched. At the back end, I saw Chris Dell coming through there as well. Keep an eye on him as he makes his way to the front end. But it's going to be very, very close here. Under braking, Holiday Senior is under a bit of threat there. And you can see John Johnson in the Golf 1, the only Golf 1 actually in this pack. And I think it's actually the only Golf 1 left in Volkswagen Challenge. Still having some fun out there nonetheless. Lewin Roos in the Martini Racing coloured Nathan's Motorsport Polo, going side by side as they come down into turn number 2 there with Stuart Mack, and Stuart Mack just makes him follow him through. Coming out of turn 2, it's a steam train heading up onto that back straightaway. Further back, Christian De Vet's having some fun in the second of the MotorMart cars. He's going to have, of course, his teammate and the big man behind the sponsorship, Mo Dangle, in the mix too. This is phenomenal stuff. Roberto Joaquim, considering the fact that he was not in a race car only 2 seasons ago, has now become kind of a seasoned campaigner at the front end of these races. So Joaquim doing a great job so far, fending off the attacks from 2 cars, Jacques Smith and Finney. And Smith's on the inside. Can Smith squeeze them both out? Yes, he can. What a move. Coming out of Kenwood and putting it into the place as they come through Mix FM turn. It's now Jacques Smith who leads out over Finney. Joaquim down to 3rd place. Under braking, you can see just in the background there. Whew, so close between these guys. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And Joaquim, don't be doing that, buddy. That'll cost you big time. Chris Dell, as I said, was coming. He's now there. And he's bringing Senior along for the ride. Stuart Mack just behind that. And John Johnson fighting out for the latter part of what is now top 8 drivers. All fighting for the lead of this race. Any one of these top 8 can win as well, let me tell you. That's how competitive this category is. Aussie drive car of Chris Dell, just ahead of that Nathan's Motorsport Polo of Senior. Further back, Lindsay Kleur having a little bit of a fight. And right at the back of the field, you can see some Class C contenders fighting with some of the Class B guys. There's Christian De Vet. Just behind De Vet, I think it's Cyan Mudley. Mudley just having a little baptism of fire here, getting used to the cars. Bruce May also keep an eye on him, but look at Dale. Dale looking for a way through on the Cool Freeze car. Joaquim shuts the door. Dale's got the better line coming out of turn 4 as they head to the top of the hill. He'll be on the inside and might be good enough on the brakes. Is he? No, not quite close enough, but look at that. He has to worry about the man coming from behind. Holiday Senior coming through. Thanks, Hollywood. Great move there from you. And that's the way you do it, up into turn 5, Sassel corner. Diving on the inside, perfectly placed car, moving up 1 position. There you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Holiday is now into that 4th place ahead of Dale. John Johnson attacking the back end of Dale as they come into the last turn, looking for a chance if there's one there. The Zonte's Motorcycles Golf 1 there, of course, of John Johnson. As they come across the line, John Johnson now trying to fend off the attack coming from Stuart Mack. Mack in the Race Technology South Africa machine looking for a chance. It's got a slightly better aerodynamic package on, has the Polo compared to the Golf 1. But when you're in the mix so close, it doesn't really matter. Ewan Roos just behind them. Can he find a way through? Not just yet. Very evenly matched field of cars here. Nice to see that. That is Luke McGregor fighting with Lindsay Kleur. McGregor in the Grange workwear car. First time out for him in 4 wheels. Coming off a very, very competitive season on the high-tech Kawasaki team last year. And now part of this magnificent, newly sponsored MotorMart Volkswagen Challenge. Back to the front. Joachim keeps out Holiday, keeps out Dale. Oh, there's a move from Lukey on the inside of Lindsay Kluwer. Very close between the two of them. And in the background, there's someone out of shape. That looks like a GTR performance car. Gareth Like. I don't like that, but that was completely out of shape. Coming through turn 4, putting a wheel on the dirt. That's what happens. You'll get left, right, and sent to the inside of the track. And Like will have to get back on track now in that GTR performance Polo of his. Race Technologies Polo is still hounding the back end of John Johnson. He'll be used to that. He's come from a couple of very seasoned and exceptionally competitive class wins and class events in the old NGN Polo Cup. So John Johnson will know what to do when he's got the likes of Stuart Mack on his tail. Further back, Kluwer now closing in onto the back end and looking for a way to close down on Almira Van Eck. And Piet Potgieter now also starting to come into the sights for the first time. Further back, Class C leader at this stage. All about Philip Cruiser, the ATE Brakes car on his own. Trying to close in on the back end of Christian de Wet. Might be able to squeeze through on de Wet. Keep an eye on that little battle. Nice to see B's and C's mixing it. Here comes Hollywood. Oh, has a big look. Holiday can't make it through there on Joachim. Joachim shuts the door. But, I can tell you, Dion is looking pretty tasty. He could possibly get up there for that third place if everything goes according to plan under brakes. At Sassel, he's not close enough yet though. You have to try and close in a bit tighter on that one. And watch out as well for Chris Dale coming from behind. Dale has closed that gap. John Johnson's on his own some now, unfortunately, and fighting still there with Stuart Mack. Jason Finney just can't close the gap there on the BPM Engineering Polo of Jacques Smith. But in his Lightmart Polo, he's staying ahead of this fight. And it's 2 fights. There's literally 3 cars, a small gap, and another 3 cars. An absolutely evenly matched machinery out there, which is great. It just means that your driver skill and your setup has to be spot on. Joachim's starting to slide around a little bit. That might be a concern for him later on, if he's already starting to slip and slide on those Hancocks. They come down into turn 2 now. These guys pushing those tyres way beyond the limits, possibly, of what those tyres were rated for. But great to have them on board as part of the deal here this year. Kluwer has closed down as well. Good to see that. Closing in on Potgieter. Potgieter could be in trouble. Piet Potgieter, ex-motorcycle rider as well, also stepped across from bikes into the Volkswagen Challenge. And a seasoned campaigner now in this Volkswagen Challenge too. Johnson losing out. Opens up the door, allows Mack through. Can Luan Ruiz do something about it as well as he goes through? Looks like he can. Luan Ruiz might be able to outgun John Johnson as they get to the top of the hill. No, he's not close enough. Didn't get quite the drive, but under braking he comes up. Yo, that was close. Very close there between Luan Ruiz and tagging the back end of John Johnson's car. So just having a look there as well. It's very tight between these 4. And just ahead, I was watching for a possibility of a change-up, and there has been. Holiday's got through there, and Joachim has dropped down another position. So hanging on for the front end. Those two chopping and changing into the closing stages here of race number 1 for Class Bs and Cs combined. Remember, the next race, they combine Class A, B, and C into one big category. Class C lead changing up here. Cruiser on the inside of Christian de Wet. Looks like that ATE Brakes car going to get through on the MotorMart machine. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can. And cements it going into Mix FM corner, heading down the hill. So that battle is still not done yet, and I think probably going to go right to the wire between the two of them. Have to keep an eye out on some of the Class B competitors, possibly closing in. I don't think they're going to do it in the shortened version, but maybe later on when there's more cars on track, Cruiser and de Wet will have to keep their wits about them, because I'm sure the Class A competitors will be getting into the mixture with them. Shane Kroon just behind them, making a debut for him in the EV Dynamics car. And further back from that, of course, is Mo Dangle. There you can see Dangle, second of those MotorMart cars coming through. Shane Kroon having a super run, and a nice recovery there from Gareth Like too, just spotting him go through. After he spun out earlier on, he's got back on track. Issues, unfortunately, for Rainer van Heerden. He pulls to the sideline and out of this in the Beretta Polo. So coming to the final stages here, Jacques Smith hit the front. He kind of really wasn't troubled by Jason Finney. Finney gave him a bit of a run early on, but once he opened up that small margin, he just controlled it from the front end and has controlled it right the way through, coming out of Mix FM for the last time and down into G&H Transport Corner. It's going to be Jacques Smith for the win, ahead of Jason Finney in the Lightmart car. Dion Holiday, I think, is going to hang on for third. We'll wait and see in the background, but there it is. Checkered flag is out, and race number 1 for Class Bs and Cs combined done. Holiday does hang on for third place, and eventually it's going to be Stuart Mack who comes through for 4th place, beating John Johnson to the line, and Holiday Jr. for 6th. There's confirmation of it. Jacques Smith from Finney, Holiday Sr. in 3rd ahead of Mack, John Johnson, Holiday Jr., Cruiser taking the Class Cs. Let's catch up with our Class B winner, Jacques Smith.
Jason Finney kept me honest, but the misfire came back, but I managed to finish on top. So yeah, amazing race. Thank you, everybody. MotorMart, BPM Engineering, just epic. Thank you.
Class C was taken by ATE's Philip Cruiser.
I had a bit of a problem at the start with one of the Class B cars who couldn't get away, and Christian passed me, and then I followed him for quite a few laps, and when I eventually got him, I could run away. But yeah, it was very nice after a wet qualifying to have a clean track again.
I think Mo Dangle will be pretty happy with the sponsorship of this class so far. If this is the kind of action we're expecting with the MotorMart Volkswagen Challenge. We're now going to combine everybody together, A, B, C, and it's going to be a big field of nearly 35 cars lined up and ready to go now for race 2. As soon as those lights go out, we go racing. And look out for a possibility of Rory Atkinson making some waves to the front end right from the word go. Because remember, he wasn't quite there from the start, but he's definitely going to be there this time. They seem to have got that car sorted out. Lyle Ramsey with a fantastic start now, heading down into turn number 2, and he's on the outside of Atkinson, who leads things into turn 2. The rest of Class A just getting through pretty much unscathed, other than a couple of running wide people. That was Kraus on the outside. Here's Jacques Smith with Jason Finney on his inside. Round the back and a little bit sideways is Luan Ruus. Ruus out of shape, and can he keep it all together? No, he can't. Loses a bit of position. Looks like he might have put Joachim onto the grass, and Shane Kruin comes flying on the inside. Nice to see him stepping up for the first time as well. He comes out of the modified production class, which we're also racing here on the day. But of course now in a polo. It's a nice start from Light, much better from him this time. Mo Dangle in the mix there as well, fighting with Smallberger. The rest of them come through there. That is Gavin Ross at the back end. But now, can they sort out what's going to happen here for second place? Not quite just yet. Valdi Mainkies is looking for a way. So is Wayne Masters. A way to get past Lyle Ramsey, which is not always an easy thing to do there in that Fuchs Lubricant and Munro Polo. As they come on the braking markers, this is Class B, and look at Holiday Senior and Junior now. All fighting with Dale. You can see just ahead of them there is Jacques Smith. And out of shape! Saven Mudley hitting the wall right in front of the man who sorted your car out. Graham Nathan, the first man to give him hell. But anyway, it's not the first time he'll do that. It'll definitely not be the last time. And a welcome return to racing at the front end. But I think we may have a safety car called for you if that car is still in a dangerous position. Needless to say, we're not going to worry about that until it actually comes out. Lyle Ramsey's not worried about it. We're on board with him now as they head up onto the braking markers for Cecil. Oh, and look at that! Out-braking himself, Nick Clark. Wow, we don't see that often. He doesn't usually make mistakes that big and that costly, because he's dropped back 2, 3, 4, make that 5 positions as there's a move on the inside. And getting through there pretty rapidly was Mike Bobliger, as he just made a maneuver through. So it is Lyle Ramsey who has basically had a little bit of a respite there, but now he's got the 2 Masters boys, and whoa, Bevan Masters. I think that's the reason why. He didn't see the safety car board, and Wayne had backed out ever so slightly. Fortunately, didn't crash into the back end of him. Looks like Mudley's got back on track, but they are going again. Yes, he's got going again. And now Jacques Smith putting himself between Mudley and... Oh, no, okay, not that quite. As they go around the outside, you can see Jason Finney also going around, the slower driver. So it looks like green flags again. Good shot there of the Grange workwear machine. That's Luke McGregor, first time out for him. He's had a little bit of a tough day in the saddle, but he'll certainly get better and better behind the wheel of that car, and probably run with his brother as well, because they've had an incredible season, not only here but last season as well, on bikes and in the Volkswagen Challenge. So up to the top of the hill once again, it is all about Rory Atkinson. Can he keep it all together? It's very close here for the win. The Munro Racing Polo of Lyle Ramsey. He's not looking for the win, but he's possibly looking for the overall on the day. Oh, it looks like Mudley Mudley being shown the way around and off the track there by Senior. Well, Dion Holiday Senior just showed him how to go through turn 4, losing bumpers, losing bits and pieces of the car. Not quite the way he wanted to finish this day's racing, that's for sure. Speaking of finishing the day's racing, well, here he comes to the flag. It is Rory Atkinson. A great turnaround there and a very good recovery from Atkinson to come back and take the win. He comes across the line ahead of Lyle Ramsey and Valdi Mainkies. Class B goes to Jacques Smith, all on his own, in fact. And once again, it's Cruiser at the top end of C. Let's get confirmation of those results for race 2. Atkinson, Ramsey, and Valdi Mainkies coming through for 3rd place. And then a great drive there from Bevan Masters and Wayne Masters for 4 and 5. In Class B, it was Jacques Smith taking the win. He finishes up ahead of Jason Finney and Chris Dale, Dion Holiday Jr., Stuart Mack, and John Johnson. Philip Cruiser takes the C's ahead of Christian DeVette again. Let's catch up with Atkinson to find out how that second race went.
I'm ecstatic. Thank you to BHRT, MotorMart VW Challenge was just a great race. I had a lovely drive, it was clean, and very proud of the result.
Class B winner there, Jacques Smith, very happy with his result as well.
Oh, it feels amazing, man. I tell you, after 2.5 years of battling, just this vindicates all the work we put in yesterday, the last month. And I just have to say thank you everybody that's helped me out and pulled late nights just trying to get all the problems sorted. And thank you to everybody and MotorMart and all the sponsors, BPM Engineering. So thank you. We'll see you next time.
Philip Cruiser with the double on the day for Class C.
I got the double win for the day. The start was a bit of carnage with the Class B. Some jump starts and then they stopped and then they stayed in the middle of the track. I'm not sure how I got through that, but I did. But from there on, it was relatively easy going.